Welcome to Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm your host, Nate Tanner. On this show, we use the Triggator philosophy to help you keep your budget balanced, build your savings and investments, and knock out debt with confidence. Now today, we're going to take a little detour. Because sometimes, even when you have the best plan, the most organized spreadsheet, and a fridge fully stocked to avoid takeout, you still get bit. You know what I'm talking about. That one expense you didn't plan for, that swipe you regretted, the financial oops moment that left the mark. This episode is called The Gator Got Me, Real Wins and Wipeouts. We're talking about the bills that came out of nowhere, the purchases that you still wince about, and the little wins that came from facing the mess and moving forward anyway. Because the truth is, everyone gets bit. Sometimes the gator pulls you under, sometimes you wrestle your way out, and sometimes you just trip and fall in wearing flip-flops and holding a taco. And that's okay. This episode isn't about shame, it's about stories. Stories that teach, inspire, and remind you that you're not alone in this journey. So whether you're riding a financial high or dragging yourself out of a gator bite, you're in the right place. Coming up next, I'll share one of my own wipeouts, a time when I let my guard down, got chomped, and came out smarter for it. So let's talk about some wipeouts when the gator bites. When we usually talk about alligator expenses, we're talking about those non-monthly surprises that bust our spending plan. But today, we're expanding that definition a bit. Today, the gator bite is any financial mishap that made us cringe at any time. But thanks to some distance and a few lessons learned, we can now laugh about it. I'll go first, then I'll open the digital listener mailbag. If you've been listening for a while, you know I served a Christian service mission. And just like my brother, my dad gave me an emergency debit card before I left. The instructions were simple: keep it close, but only use it if it's a true emergency. So off I went to Paraguay. Here's how these missions work. First, we pay our own way. Each month's living expenses were deposited 1 month at a time. That money had to last the entire month. Second, we had mission rules, one being that we could only call home on Mother's Day and Christmas. All other communication was by letter. And third, we were always assigned a companion. This was another missionary who was at your side 24/7. These assignments changed regularly, and let's just say, sometimes the pairings were divinely inspired, and sometimes they were just a test of patience. After one of these changes, I got paired with a new companion from Chile. I was still new in Paraguay just 6 weeks in and still learning the language. A side note, you've never felt truly humbled until someone gives a command to a dog, and the dog understands it, but you don't. When my new companion arrived, the first thing he did was buy a ton of cleaning supplies. It's funny, I don't remember him using them. Anyway, within a couple of days, his entire month's allowance was gone. So guess who had to cover meals for the both of us? Yep, me. My money ran out faster than a Costco sample tray on Saturday. I had no food, a week until my next allowance, and a roommate with a sparkling bathroom, but zero groceries. So I declared an emergency and headed to the store. I filled my cart with the basics, reached for my dad's sacred emergency debit card, and I swiped. Declined. Swipe again. Declined. Swipe roulette began. You know the game. You remove an item, swipe again, and hope for the best. Still declined. I left the store empty-handed and defeated. Luckily, I had a bit of emergency cash stashed away in my suitcase, and we survived on street empanadas until payday. Now, here comes the punchline. A week later, I get my weekly mail. One of those glorious letters from my dad. Inside was a note: Nate, don't try to use the emergency card. I accidentally closed that account. Here's a new one instead. The letter was dated 4 weeks earlier. I now understand the wisdom of Robbie Hart when he shouted, "Once again, things that could have been brought to my attention yesterday." At the time, not funny. Now, an unforgettable life lesson in keeping more money than month. All right, let's check the inbox. First off, Mike's story, the $2,000 Vegas no-show. Mike had a buddy getting married. The best man, not Mike, planned a destination bachelor party in Las Vegas. First class flights, luxury hotel, a big weekend. Total cost, about $2,000. Mike didn't have it, but his good friend Visa said, "We got you," for only 28% APR. So he charged it, planning to pay it off quickly and party like a rock star. Then, he and the groom had a falling out. The friendship ended and the party didn't even happen. But that $2,000 bill, it very much happened. Mike's lesson: I learned the hard way that true friends don't expect you to jeopardize your financial well-being for a party. Let's talk about Will's story, the $20,000 wedding. Will found the love of his life. She said yes. And so did the vendors. $500 for the DJ, $500 for the photographer, $1,500 for the venue, rings, catering, decor, and those tiny napkins that say bride and groom forever. When all was said and done, Will had $20,000 in wedding debt. Then came the real marriage and the stress. It turns out the second leading cause of divorce in the US is financial conflict. Will's marriage hit some rocky ground, but here's the good news. They're still together and now they're working on their financial goals as a team. Will says we're still a work in progress, but we try to focus on our shared goals. Will, that is amazing. Keep going. And actually, next episode, we're diving into that exact topic, the marriage money triangle, you, your spouse, and the budget. So here you have it, a few Gator wipeouts and some painful bites. But every story had a lesson and a little hope. Let's cover a few Gator-sized wins, but we're going to call this the lightning round edition. All right, we've heard some wipeouts. Let's talk wins. Here's a rapid fire of real-life success stories, short and sweet. These are the moments when someone dodged the gator, took back control, or just made one small move in the right direction. We're going to go through these fast and quick, just a couple of sentences each. Win number 1. I made a spending plan for the first time ever. It felt like giving my money a map, and suddenly I wasn't lost anymore. Win 2. We canceled 4 subscriptions and saved $68 a month. It was like giving myself a raise without asking my boss. Win number 3. I did a 24-hour spending fast and actually felt in control. Turns out I'm more powerful than my cravings and that drive-through menu. Win 4. I paid off a credit card I carried for 6 years. No confetti cannon, but I still danced like I won the Super Bowl. Win number 5. I finally wrote down my debt and faced the numbers. Seeing it didn't crush me, it freed me. Win number 6. I opened my first savings account ever. It was $25, but it was my $25, and it had a job. Win number 7. My spouse and I did our first budget check-in together. It wasn't perfect, but it didn't end in an argument, and that's a win. Win number 8. I added a life happens category to my plan. It's a blast having kids in sports until the sudden, my goggles broke and I need a new snorkel moment. Now I'm ready. Win number 9. I moved my bills to autopay from a separate account. No more late fees, no stress, just vibes. Win number 10. I set an alligator fund for Christmas in April. This year, my credit card is staying out of my holiday photo. Win 11. I finally told someone I was struggling with money. It didn't make me feel weak, it empowered me. Win number 12. I did my first money mirror review of my spending plan. Apparently, I love takeout more than on my electric bill, but now I know. Win number 13. I chose the debt snowball method and paid off my first small debt with a snowflake. Watching that balance hit 0 was better than dessert, and I love dessert. Win number 14. I picked a budget buddy, and we're scheduled to check in every payday. Accountability is like pre-installed motivation. And lastly, win number 15. I started an alligator fund and already used it once. The gator still showed up, but I was ready this time. That's what we call progress. Some of these started with just a few dollars. Some of them started with conversation. Some with a canceled subscription or a late night reality check-in. But every one of them started with a decision. Let's take some lessons from the swamp. Let's face it, no one gets through life gator-free. We all have our moments. Some bites sting for a while. Others just leave a funny scar and a good story. But every single one of them teaches us something. And when you zoom out, some big lessons start to emerge. As I went through stories, wins, and comments, these 4 lessons stuck out. Lesson number 1, progress is greater than perfection. Perfection is a trap. It keeps you frozen, afraid to mess up. But progress is powerful, even if it's messy, uneven, or covered in emotional spending receipts. You're not behind, you're just in motion. Lesson number 2, systems save you. You don't beat gators by being better or more disciplined. You beat them by having a system, a plan, a spending structure that works the way you live and get paid. Willpower can fade, systems stick. If you don't have a system yet, well, I know a little something about that. See Triggator. Lesson 3, the gator isn't the end. When you get bit, when the unexpected hits, when you overspend, when you feel like you blew it, it doesn't mean you're doomed. You don't fail, you just found the next thing to improve. As the old Japanese proverb says, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Every win you heard in today's episode came after a bite. Lesson 4, you're stronger than you think. You've listened to our conversations, you're paying attention to your money, you've made decisions, taken action, learned from mistakes. You're stronger than the gator, even when you feel like you're not. I love this old African proverb that says, smooth seas do not make skillful sailors. Well, guess what? You've been sailing in gator-infested waters, and you're still here. Coming up next, I'll leave you with a quick challenge, a chance to share your own wins or wipeouts, and a preview of our next episode's topic, the one a lot of couples need and nobody teaches. We've heard the bites, we've heard the bounce backs, now it's your turn. Because the gator's gotten all of us at some point, but you never know who needs to hear your story to realize they're not alone. So your challenge, share your Gator Got Me moment. Was it a wipeout that taught you something? A win that came after a mistake? A time you dodged the gator because of a lesson you already had learned? Email it to podcast@triggator.com or DM me at Triggator on Instagram, X, or Facebook with the hashtag #TheGatorGotMe. We may feature it in a future episode, and either way, you'll be part of someone else's breakthrough moment. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to this podcast so you never miss a daily dose of money mastery. Leave a review. It helps others discover the show and gives me the motivation to keep the daily episodes coming. Share this episode with a friend who's been feeling the bite lately. We all need a little reminder that wipeouts don't mean it's over. Next time on the podcast, we're diving into a topic that has been responsible for both breakups and breakthroughs: money and marriage. In this next upcoming episode, it's the marriage triangle: you, your spouse, and the budget. We're talking about how to talk about money without starting a fight. What to do when one of you is a spender and the other is a saver. And how to turn your financial opposites into financial strengths. Whether you're newlywed, long-time married, or financially entangled, you won't want to miss it. Until next time, keep learning, keep laughing, and keep feeding your gators before they bite. This is Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm Nate Tanner, and I'll see you in the next episode.